Hello, in this video, we're going to learn about exponents. We're going to do that by answering three different questions. And to start, let's answer the big one. What is an exponent? Well, let's go ahead and define that. An exponent is an operation where a number is multiplied by itself, okay, or repeated multiplication. So let's go ahead and take a look at what an exponent looks like. Perhaps it'll be something like 5 and a 4, okay, where the 5 is called the base and the 4 is called the exponent. Okay? The base will be written at the bottom of your line, and it'll be a little bit bigger. And then the exponent will be on top, kind of right on top of the number, and it'll be smaller. But it'll always look something like this, or else you can also write it with a caret. So it could be 5 caret 4. Right? With computers, sometimes they don't have the exponent little function, so you might see problems written as 5 caret 4. It means the same as 5, right, with a 4 exponent. Okay, so now that we understand the definition of an exponent, right, how do exponents work? Well, that happens to be question number 2. So here we have a base of 5, as we said before, right? The 5 is our base, and the 4 is our exponent. Okay, so let's go ahead and think about what's going to be repeated. We are going to repeat our base, okay? So this 5 is the thing that's going to be repeated, and the exponent tells us the number of times that we're going to repeat our base. So we are going to have 4 5s, okay? So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all this is repeated multiplication. So we're just simply going to multiply 5 together 4 times. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5, 125. And 125 times 5, 625. Now let me tell you, this is a lot easier with a calculator. All you need to do is type in your number base, which in our case is 5, so you would hit the 5 key, and then hit the key that says x to the y, and then you type in the exponent of 4, and it'll spit out this same answer as well. So if you have a calculator, it's a lot easier than multiplying it out by hand. But that is essentially how exponents work. Now, it's not always numbers included in these exponents. You could also have, let's say, an x, right? If you were doing some algebra. So let's say we had a base of x and an exponent of 4. This would look like x times x times x times x, right? So still, it's just repeated multiplication. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why do we need repeated multiplication? What does this matter? Well, numbers repeat all the time in math, right? For example, in the real world, we might make the same amount of money each week, or buying curtains costs the same every single time. So that is going to be, something that repeats. But those are examples of a different function that repeats. Let's check it out. Our third question is, what is multiplication? Well, why are we talking about multiplication? This is supposed to be about exponents. Well, I brought this up because I think multiplication is interesting because it's repeated addition. So you can think of exponents as repeated multiplication, whereas multiplication is repeated addition. Let's take a look. So if we have, say, 3 times 5, right? That's essentially 3 times 3, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, right? 3 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how I like to also think about exponents, because instead of repeating addition, we're doing repeated multiplication. So here we have 3, a base of 3, and an exponent of 5. That would be, we're going to have the number 3 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So instead of repeated addition, we're going to have repeated multiplication. And that is how you solve exponents. You simply repeat your base, which in our case is 3, the number of times that the exponent tells you. Let's look at one more example. Say we had the number 4 as our base and our exponent of 3. Well, how would we do this? Well, you simply write the base number. How many times? 4. We need 3 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you multiply it. 4 times 4 times 4. That equals 64. Okay? And that, in essence, for an introduction, is what exponents are all about. For more math help, please visit mathradio.com or click the link in the description of this video.